Hi everyone. It's very sunny. Hi everyone. I am Jedaidah Chilufya Skalesa, and I am one of the mentors at the JNS Juniors and Seniors Mentoring Network. Just give me a second. Yeah, so I am from Kampala, and I came to the US after completing my undergrad at University of Zambia, UNZA, and I came to the US to pursue my graduate studies. So I came for my master's, and then when I graduated, I continued on to do PhD. So I'm currently a PhD student working on my doctoral degree in biology at the University of Massachusetts. And welcome to a new week, welcome to a new month, February, Black History Month. I have my Black History Month earring. Hope that the week I started off on a good note, and that it's gonna be a productive one. Yeah. So at JNS Mentoring Network, our goal is to provide guidance, advice, support, tips, and encouragement to help you achieve your academic goals, your personal goals, and your career or professional goals. And so in today's video, I'm going to share a little bit about goal setting and planning for the week. And so let us know in the chat, how do you plan for your week? When you have your goals, how do you plan your to-do list and distribute it throughout the whole week? Let us know and share with us. We're here to help each other. Okay, so I'm going to share about one way which is adopted from the National Center for Faculty Development and Diversity, NCFDD. So why is it really important for us to plan for a week where we have goals we want to achieve each week, and make sure that those goals actually get accomplished? How do we make sure that they get accomplished? How do we plan for the week? Or is it just better just not to even plan for the week? You just say, okay, fine, no week, yeah, Lisa, whatever happens. Or should we really plan for the week? Now, we know one thing is that, of course, when you make plans, things happen. Life happens such that the plans that we made don't actually happen, because emergencies come up, family things come up. So does that mean that there's no point in planning? Well, we can say that it's very important for us to plan for the week. It's actually a good idea to set at least aside some time on a day to say, fine, maybe on a Sunday or on a Saturday, you set about 30 minutes to say, I'm going to plan for the week and set goals for what I want to do list for the week to achieve certain goals. It's very important, because when things happen, emergencies happen and stuff, at least you still have a framework. You still have a backbone to say, oh, this thing couldn't happen on Wednesday. Fine, because of this, I'll push it to Thursday, or I'll push this thing, I'll swap this to and do this thing first, then do this thing another time. Because otherwise, if we don't, at least for most of us, if there's no plan set in place, we really think ahead to plan certain activities, to-do lists, we just won't end up doing them. We just keep saying, I'll do it next week, I think in a week later, and then before you know it, you're 6 months into the year. Before you know it, 2021, yeah, Peter, and you're this year has finished, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. So it's always good to plan. Okay, and so how do you do this? So according to NCFDD, adopted strategy of planning is in a few general steps. So the first one I talk about is that it's good to set aside a day in a week to say, I'm going to sit down for about 20 to 30 minutes and plan for my week. So for me, so far, Sunday, later in the day works, or Monday morning before classes or school. Spend about 30 minutes. And what do? So you then sit down in your 30 minutes, give set a timer and say, I have to spend 30 minutes to actually plan this. Set a timer, and then spend the first 5 minutes just thinking about all the to-do list, all the to-do things that you want to conduct in that week. So everything, just whatever comes to your mind, things that you meant to do last week, things that you've been thinking about doing for a long time, just write everything down and don't spend more than 5 minutes. Or that whole list of stuff that needs to be done, they don't have to be in any order. Just whatever comes to your mind, just put it down everywhere. Just do what they call a brain dump. Whatever you think it needs to be done this week or even next week, or whatever is coming to your mind, this thing has to be done at some point. Just write everything down. That is one step. And remember, the timer is going. If you have a timer going, some of us, we are more focused when there's a timer. If there's no timer, then we take our time, right? And we don't want to waste time. The next thing is, now that you know what your to-do list is, then you go to your timetable. Okay, the timetable can be blank, and for me, I always start with a blank timetable. I have a planner which has the 7 days of the week laid out, morning, afternoon, evening. We actually have one, a J&S planner, so we can share that with you. Let us know if you'd actually like one. Or you can just have a blank paper and just create your own timetable, Sunday through to Saturday, and the general morning, afternoon, evening. Have it blank. And the first thing you do before you put down any to-do list, the first thing you should do is first write down things in the timetable. Write down all the activities that are non-negotiables, activities that always happen from week to week. Okay, like what time do you wake up on a Monday? Do you go to school? What time do you go to school? What time do you go to work? What time is lunchtime? Do you clean the house? Do you cook? What did you having lunch, having dinner? Do you are you doing homework? Do you have an assignment? Do you have an appointment, family events? And just write down all the non-negotiables, standard things that are happening in the week. Okay, so once you write that down, then you're going to have spaces in your timetable. There'll be a space, and that's where now you put your to-do list. Okay, because it's important for you to first figure out what's already there. Otherwise, there's no point in putting your to-do list. Maybe you put it at a time where you know that, oh, I said I'm going to go and do I'll go to the gym, or I'll do Zumba at home from 8 to 10. And yes, from 8 to 10 you have class, so 8 to 10 you have to be in the office. So first put what's already there, and then put your to-do list, things that you want to achieve that week. Okay, so once you do that, use all your spaces to put now all your to-do list. Now this is where it kind of gets tricky, because you have to first figure out which things are more urgent, which things are more important, which things should be priority. You say, fine, this thing needs to be done. The deadline is maybe you said you have a test on Wednesday, like physics, and then you say, fine, if I have a test on Wednesday, I have to make sure that on Monday afternoon, Monday evening, I am studying physics. You put those things down, and so it's the big job will be deciding what's urgent, what's not, what should come first, what should come next, and also some things have to wait. They don't have to happen this week. You have to maybe transfer them to the following week and say, fine, this thing, it's not urgent, I'll take it, I'll leave it and put it on my waiting list for next week, my next week's planning. And then there are things where maybe you just have to ask someone else to do it. You delegate, you say, fine, this thing I can't really do, I don't have the time, maybe I'll ask someone to help me do this thing. So that's why you have to make the decision, and then you put that down. Okay, so once you have your timetable filled out, then you've been back on planning for your week. And mind you, some things will still remain. They might have to be done next week, they might have to be delegated, and so on and so forth. Okay, then after you've done that, make sure you don't forget what things are remaining. Put them on a list somewhere, so that each week by week you make sure those things are being done. They're just not being put away until the year ends or something. Okay, and then what happens next? So then after you have your timetable put out, then you have to decide when you do a check-in. The last step is you have to do a check-in. What time of day will you check your timetable to say, okay, on Monday it's going to be in the morning or in the evening, where I'm going to say, fine, today what's on my to-do list? Okay, this is what I have to do. Fine, you get it done. Or is it going to be in the evening or like in the middle of the day, where you're like, oh, how did my day go so far? What do I have to do? A check. Or maybe it's going to be sometime throughout like a couple of times throughout the day. So decide beforehand what time will be your check-in, because otherwise you forget what your to-do list is, and we can't always depend on our minds to remember. When I first came to the US, everyone around me was like using their calendar, and I'm just like, wow, like seriously, do we all need to be checking our phones or our computers to remind us what we need to do? I'm like, I think my mind will remember, Lisa. In my first year, actually my first year I did pretty well. Like by the time I was in my second year in my master's, I started forgetting, like missing like appointments. Those things that are not like routine. Like maybe like let's say, oh, we should meet here, or like oh, let's have an appointment here. Things that are not like scheduled in like the classes and the teaching. Those I started missing them because I forgot. I didn't write them down. There's so much that that is happening around that we can't just like trust our brain to remember. Yeah, so the brain should remember most things, but if you can write things down and check, it's always good to do that. So when we write things down, we should be checking constantly to make sure that we're actually doing what we need to do, what we said we would do. Okay, and the last checking is like you now have to find a mentor. This is where we come in, or a trusted friend to share the goals for the week with. You say, oh, this week overall I want to do this. I want to like my to-do list is mostly about, I don't know, studying or writing an application, applying for a scholarship, or working hard so I can get a promotion, like exercising more. And so share with someone, just like not every single detail of your timetable, but just like share with them, say, this is what I want to do this week. And so again, pick a day. So pick someone and then pick a day where you can actually share that with someone. And it's actually easier if you make it consistent every single week. You say, okay, fine, on Sundays we'll be meeting and talking about our goals. That way it also keeps you accountable. For me, I'm like, oh, next week I have to like meet my friend and tell her how my week went. If I didn't do anything, so I was feeling lazy and procrastinating. I'm like, that's not good. I need to like pull up my socks. So it actually motivates you and it keeps you going, and also it's just like a form of encouragement and also suggestions. That the same things that you might not know, somebody else might know better than you. And like I said, we're here to help each other. We each don't know everything. We only know some things, and our life is full of learning. Life is a constant journey of learning. The more we learn from others, the better we are as individuals and as a people. So that's like the general method of like planning for your week. First, pick a day for about 20 to 30 minutes where you plan for a day. Set a timer. Start by first writing all the things you want to do, the whole list of things you want to do in that week or the next 2 weeks, the next 3 weeks. Then next, go to your timetable, fill it up first with the things that are non-negotiables, and then you have spaces in there. So non-negotiables such as what time you wake up, what time you have breakfast, what time you go to school, what time you go to work, lunch, cleaning, cooking, and things like that. And then when you have spaces after you put at those non-negotiables, then you put the things that you want to do that week. Okay, and you have to think about what's priority, what's urgent, what's important, what can wait for next week, what can be done by then I can actually do other things. But I should make sure I leave some buffer time, some extra time for things that I didn't plan for. Maybe like when driving to the lab, you know, there's traffic, or yeah, I have to like divert, or maybe when I go to the lab I can't find a certain chemical. I thought I had like some reagents, but I have to make them. Like you have to plan for extra time. So think about that when you're planning for your week. Okay, so, and then always remember to have a check-in for yourself and with somebody else as your accountability partner. So here is to you setting your goals for the week and having a productive week and month and year ahead of you. From J&S Mentoring Network.